We now continue with American Entrepreneur.
I know that we have a large number of entrepreneurs, and we keep hearing this chant over and over that small businesses are going to be the engine that brings this economy back. Right. What is it that individuals can and should do to prepare themselves to be MMSDC?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I would say two things. First, before that, just prepare. I mean, there are great examples all around this community and around the country of great entrepreneurs. And it starts with, I think you see some traits in common. If I look at our most successful entrepreneurs and even successful entrepreneurs that aren't part of our organization, there's these traits, the passion for what they do. Right, there will be a lot of people who try to crush your dreams, who try to deter you from what you do.
Oh yeah.
And you have to be able to have such a focus and passion that doesn't get to you. Financing, all right, and if you can't handle your personal finances, if you bouncing checks at home and putting your cable in your mama's name, you have to wait a while, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it is hard. It's hard enough to get financing from the banks as it is. So you really have to have your financial house in order, and you may have to go to 100 different banks before you get the one that's going to help finance you, and it may not be a bank. There are other entrepreneurs, if you're clear about your what the value that you deliver, right? A lot of us want to do some things, but what makes you different than the 40 other people who do something, right? So if you're clear about your value, you have your passion there, you get your financing in order, and learn to build a team. And, even if if you have employees, that's it. I mean, you have to build that team. If you don't have employees, the partners you have to be the very best that there could possibly be, and share your vision.
Now, traditionally, there has been a challenge for mostly those who fall in the minority category of having access to capital.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that. Whether it's personal credit or not knowing how to get business credit, help me overcome that nugget there.
Yeah, and that has been for, I think, as long as this organization's been in place. That continues to be the challenge. It's hard for any small business. It is particularly hard for minority-owned businesses. And some of it is relationships. I mean, people do business with people who they know, like, and trust, right? And so it's imperative that you get to know your local banker, your manager, know those folks. I mean, think about it, think about a normal life. If you never met me before, I come to you and say, hey, I'd like to borrow some money from you, right?
Yeah, right.
It's one thing, but if I've known you and developed a relationship, you still might not be able to do it, but at least you're going to start to listen and be able to feel things. So we interview bankers regularly and say, hey, what are the biggest impediments to folks not getting, being able to get capital? So that's one of them. I think number two is really having a clear sense of being able to articulate to the people who are funding you how your business works, what's your vision for growth, right? And then, because you have to have those things, it's still going to be difficult. I mean, there's no magic key. I mean, one of the things that we're excited about here is, pretty much, on a quarterly basis, we bring banks in to show our businesses which loans have closed. They take the names off and say, hey, if you are if you're a distributor of a product, and here's one that we funded 2 months ago that needed $1 million line of credit. Here's what their credit scores look like. Here's what their cash flow look like. And you can compare that to theirs and say, hey, I meet the same thing. There's no reason for you not to do this deal. Or I'm a little short. Here's where I need to tighten it up. Or hey, my numbers are better than them. Maybe I'm qualified for a $1.5 million line of credit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are the things we're trying to do to help that, but it continues to be the biggest challenge. And I wish I had a better answer to that, but again, that is the biggest impediment, I think, that's really been putting a pressure on minority businesses to excel and achieve where they really need to be. If we had better access to credit, it'd just be amazing the things we'd be seeing out there right now.
Sure. Yeah, no, I appreciate that honesty there. As you look at that, and I hear the passion in your voice and the advocating for wanting to get more and more entrepreneurs involved. What drives you? What drives Lewis Green? Gets you up in the morning and helps you to want to do this on a continuous basis?
I think it's the personal stories, and there's some of our minority businesses, and sometimes I'll go visit, I'll talk to the folks that work there. I talk to them and says, no one in my family has ever gone to college. I was able to send my daughter to college because this MBE gave me a job, or somebody else, we're the first one ever to own a house. One of our other MBEs says, I've worked here for 10 years, and because of that, able to buy. I mean, those things. And you see some of our MBEs. We have one here locally in Detroit. Andrew Rush just opened a plant. It's going to be the largest number of manufacturing jobs in Detroit in over 30 years.
Really?
Really. Right? That's a minority-owned business,
right.
That did that. I mean, and the changes to that community and the opportunities are there. So, I mean, that's what drives me. I mean, business owners are great, and I love their passion and like to help them make their dream. But they changed lives of so many people, trajectories of communities, changed the lives of the folks that work for them. And it really changes, the futures for minority folks. And so that's an easy passion to kind of get you up in the morning and get excited about things. And also when you have those terrible days, it's the same thing that can drive you through those.
Yeah. What keeps you up at night then and worries you the most about the work that you do and the ability to reach the kind of goals that you might set?
That that entrepreneurship isn't as imbued in our culture as I would hope that it would be, right? Our children by and large don't have the same aspirational things culturally as a lot of other cultures do, and I don't want to see generationally things drive. I mean, there's some amazing things each generation brings forth, but a lot of kids, I don't see that same drive towards business. It's about consuming things and having things, but it isn't about having their own. And a good job is great, but when you go to the grave, that job goes with you. Your business can stay in generations and change your family, and you can pass it on. But too many folks are looking at things and jobs as opposed to ownership and equity.
Yeah. Final question then. Tell me what you think is a real benefit, an outstanding benefit to being an entrepreneur in line with what you just shared.
Well, I mean, I think that is really the best. It's a sense of freedom. And sometimes when you're in the middle of it, you don't feel so free, but it really is.
Yeah.
It's a sense of freedom, of being able to take your vision and carry it to a place that maybe you didn't even think could happen. But it's hard work. I think somebody said, being an entrepreneur isn't easy. Sometimes you have to live like others don't live. So someday you can live like others don't live. Right? I mean, it's hard work. It's rewarding work, but it can change the foundation and trajectories of communities. And in many ways, it's going to be the only way to success. There are a lot of talented folks out here looking for jobs that they aren't going to find, but they can apply those talents. There's so many needs that need to be met. It doesn't have to be a $1 billion corporation.
Sure.
But there's so many needs that need to be met, and people can meet them. And just the opportunity to help people do that is I think the best thing about being an entrepreneur.
And when you become a member of NMB and how I'm going to get that right, MMSDC, right? When you become a member, you actually can get involved with a variety of different training programs as well.
We have so many things. I mean, we looked at our calendar last year, for this year actually, 2012. We had 238 different activities for our members. So that's literally something almost every single day. I mean, you wouldn't be able to run your business if you're participating in every single thing that we do. But lots of opportunities. But I would say the biggest benefit that I would say for joining us is this. If you think what it would cost to have a salesperson to be able to knock on the door of a GM, a Whirlpool, a Domino's, a Chrysler, a Google, all those folks, how much it would cost you to pay a full-time salesperson to knock on all those doors. You have access to all those folks through our membership, right? And they're looking to buy from you. And you probably couldn't get appointments with all those folks knocking on those doors.
Oh, yeah.
If you wanted to, you probably couldn't get, all of them in 1 year, but that's all available here. And I think it's just a really unparalleled opportunity for businesses.
Well, fantastic, sir. Thank you very much for your continued advocating in the services that you all provide.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's it for now. I hope we provided some insight on another component of the entrepreneurial experience. Now we want to hear from you. Share your comments about the show or tell us why you are an American entrepreneur by sending your emails to myamericanaentrepreneur@gmail.com. We just might use your comment on an upcoming show. I'm your host, Ed Foxworth. Thanks for joining me on another edition of American Entrepreneur. And until next time, remember to decide, believe, and pursue.